How's everybody doing today? So today I'm going to go ahead and discuss what ambitions I have for my little political platform project, I guess. I'm calling it a different perspective because I feel that I do offer a different perspective. And I'm going to go ahead and list what I want to do. And also, I'm going to go ahead in this video give you a tour of my political ideology. So let's get started. I would like to create a culture of people just wanting to have conversations, make a little community, a political community on my platform to just have conversations with Zoom, what other Skype and other ways to talk live on the computer and also do video exchanges like I had with these Trump supporters on that last video that I saw. So the next thing I would also like to do, I really like how PragerU does informational videos about particular topics and then offers their solution. And all that comes from a point of view from people that have a lot of money and a lot of power. And I do not have a lot of money and a lot of power compared to those people. And but I do have experience of law enforcement, being an educator, being a public servant, being a regular dude that just witnesses the things that are happening in this country. And what about regular people? What are their solutions? I mean, we always hear the opinion of people that have platforms that are in power, but how about the average Joe? So I want to go ahead and put my 2 cents out there on what solutions could be something we could implement. And also, that would also serve as a good topic to debate. So if anyone disagrees with me, they could use those informational videos to say, hey, I want to challenge you. And I'll be like, okay, I did my research, so let's do this. So that'd be the third thing I would like to put on my platform is debating people on things that I'm familiar with. And fourth thing I would like to do is probably moderate debates between other people so I could learn and my audience can learn as well with me. And be a part of panels, number 5. And last but not least, interview some politicians, local politicians. That'd be kind of fun. So that's pretty much the ideas that have been bouncing in my head, and keep it organic, make it fun. It's like, people want someone that enjoys what they're doing to make content. And that's something I do enjoy, and I want it to be fun. So I want it to be organic to get people to buy in, to say, you know what, this guy got some point. We do need to talk to each other because that's something I bought into, and I want to share that enthusiasm with you. But just due to time constraints and lack of resources, who knows how much I'll be able to get done. But all right, let's go ahead and get the tour of my political ideology. I'm policy focused. I reference what our country has done in the past to see what could work right now. And I want to go ahead and just utilize my personal experience to understand how people think as well, because I think it's unique because I was a Republican. I voted straight Republican in the first 2 general elections I took part in. So, I have a good read on what conservatives think. So that's why I enjoy talking to conservatives, not necessarily to tell them they're wrong or to challenge them, but to ask them questions. Because one thing Trump did to help me ask questions is to reference the past. And another thing that Trump supporters do really well to help me ask them questions is that they tell you who their favorite politicians are. And many Trump supporters, they love Trump and they love Reagan. So it just makes me very curious when I hear that. And it makes me very curious every time they proudly put their MAGA hats on, because I have questions. And every time I've asked Trump supporters these questions, I've never heard responses. And it's not like a lefty challenging them, or I'm just like, okay, MAGA, what time period is being referenced? Because I reference the past to utilize to fix problems right now. What did we do in our most prosperous time in our country? I'm confident enough to say it was during the Eisenhower presidency. He was friendly with unions. FDR probably gave him a lot of government subsidies, tools to utilize to help people with social safety nets back then. And Eisenhower taxed corporations more than the suggested tax rate of AOC. And 90% of the infrastructure for our interstate highways was covered. 90% of the cost was covered by the federal government. So that would be considered left on the spectrum of politics. So that's why I'm left, because I like the fact that we make people that are profiting a lot of money, corporations, distribute that wealth to pay for infrastructure or to pay for the social safety nets for our Americans. That's what was done in the past. And a lot of state colleges were almost free to go to back in the past. So I don't really understand the argument from older Trump supporters saying, well, you are wanting a handout. So I'm like, I could make the argument, I want the same thing that you had back in that time. They didn't realize what policies were getting utilized during the time that they saw, that they want back, that they're referencing through MAGA. And then I asked them, is Trump raising the corporate tax rates like Eisenhower did? Is Trump utilizing government to finance the infrastructure, to maintain it like he said he would? So a lot of those criticisms can be made on the Democratic Party as well, because I don't think a Democratic politician other than Bernie Sanders and maybe Yang and AOC would touch any of those policies implemented by Republicans with a 10-foot pole. Bernie Sanders would invest in infrastructure like I believe Eisenhower. AOC would probably tax corporations like Eisenhower did. And Yang would entertain UBI like Nixon did. So no Democrats will do that. So I'm not just incriminating Trump, but Biden wouldn't touch those policies, that taxation either. So that's the kind of questions I ask. Especially, I'm very curious with older people because there is a big generational divide. And I think I'm unique due to my generation. I'm not a millennial. I'm older. I'm 40 years old. So it's not like older people can say, well, you don't know, you don't have a family, you're not a homeowner, you're not married, you don't know what the cost of childcare is. Those aren't talking points that work on me. So it's just like I can talk like a grown ass man to people that are older now. So it's just like I always had to keep my mouth shut before. But now I'm just like, no, you don't know the cost of childcare. You don't know the cost of college tuition now. Do you even know the cost of inflation? I mean, do you know how I have, those are questions I have, not accusations, because I think we do need to communicate more with older individuals. And this is not just to talk about conservatives. Even my father, I can use him as an example. I've had a conversation with him about this because he would say, well, when I was younger, I had to have so many jobs and all that. And I'm like, okay, well, I realized that I was alive then. I remember. But I'm just like, okay, well, let's go ahead and use you as an example and put you in today's economy. How much would you be able to say you'd be able to get with that kind of job now? Would you be able to afford the things that you have right now with that kind of job? And what if you didn't have my grandmother as child care? Would you be able to afford child care on top of that? So he got quiet. He goes, we'd find a way. But at least he was able to realize, yeah, that is tough. That is tough. And I also I recently conversed with him with like, are things getting better? He's like, no, man, they're not gonna get better. So what are we going to do? We can't rely on people in power anymore, because if you even got a Biden supporter not being an optimist with Biden in power, but of course you have a lot of Trump supporters just not able to define MAGA, we have some problems and we need to talk. So that's why I'm making content out there so we can respect one another again and encourage each other to inform ourselves and hold each other accountable and unite, because the people in power don't just donate to one party, they donate to both parties, and that's how you win. So when we start doing the same thing, we're going to see no change until we start doing the same thing. So hopefully I encourage unity with my content. I have an open door policy, and I'm going to go ahead and engage. If you send me a private message, I'll definitely try to get back to you. I have that app on my phone now. So, yeah, that's how I feel, man. I mean, I really feel these are important topics to discuss. So, don't want to ramble on anymore. So, hopefully, that was a good purpose video to let you know what I have in store. So, have a good one.